Welcome back to another video, guys, and today I'm going to take a look at another chess game that I played on chess.com in the 10-minute blitz, 10-minute rapid format. So my opponent, Salt City from Canada, plays e4, e5, regular stuff. We get the Spanish, or the Ruy Lopez, if you like that more. And I play the Berlin. It's my favorite tool against the Spanish because I counterattack this pawn right away. The opponent defends. I develop my bishop, castles. I also castle, which is an inaccuracy because basically, the opponent can take my knight and win my pawn. So I should have protected my pawn better. I believe the best move here would have been d6. Yes, d6 is a book move, so it is a good move. Now, anyway, um, but my opponent doesn't take my knight right away, pins my other knight. I kick the bishop, and he retreats the bishop, as a matter of fact. Doesn't take the knight. I go after the bishop with my knight, but that removes the defense from my pawn, right? So it wasn't actually that good of a move. So anyway, I go after this bishop now. Has to retreat the bishop. I get a bishop for a knight, and now here I should defend my pawn, but instead what it like something like rook e8, very simple, but instead I go in the center right away, which just simply blunders pawn. He develops a knight. I still don't see that my pawn is hanging in the center. Just like play like rook e8, and it's all very simple. Or d4 also best move because I kick the knight, and he has other stuff to worry about. But no, instead I go attack this bishop. Brings the bishop back, and now I get another chance to defend my pawn, but I still don't do it. I pin his knight instead, which I mean also kind of deals with a problem because like he can't take right now because he would lose his queen, so that makes sense. And now I retreat my bishop. He goes hunting after my bishop, which I retreated in the corner. And now he plays c3, which completely traps his knight because his knight has no squares to go to. It will get taken on both squares. So he attacks my bishop, counter attack, the good move. I retreat it, and he wins the pawn eventually. So yes, now I take the knight. Of course, it's a free knight. Why should I take it? But my opponent finds a very nice tactic where he trades the material and attacks my knight that is pinned. I can't move it, of course. So what do I do? Okay, I'm thinking in this position, you know, the knight is going to fall anyway, and I would like to take back with a pawn because that way I will connect my pawns once again and I have a good position. My pawn right here is hanging right now, so I should recapture a pawn so I wouldn't completely lose it, but instead would win a pawn back for it. And I do it, but no, that's a mistake, and the position is back to equal, or if anything, white has a slight advantage. Um, but yes, here I had a winning tactic, which is so deep I just could not see it. And the idea is queen b1. Now, the plan here is that, when your opponent takes the knight, you don't take back with a pawn, but instead you attack the bishop. And now, what the problem here is that, see, this pawn is actually pinned to the king. You can't move this pawn, right? So when they retreat the bishop, this bishop is actually undefended here. And what you can do is you can take it with check, and you have a forced mate here. When they go into the corner, you take with the bishop, threatening mate in 1 here. So in order to stop that, they take your bishop, and now I mean it's just wait. Actually, here I'm sorry, my mistake. Since they didn't take this pawn here, this line is actually not open, and you don't have force mate, but still, you can just take the rook, you win material. They have big weaknesses on the king side. This pawn is going to fall very soon, and you have a very pleasant position to play. So Yes, but if we go back here a little bit, and if they do this move, which is supposedly the best move actually, to counterattack your rook, you just take, and now if they retreat here, then now you do actually have a force mate in 5, which would go like this. You take the bishop, they have to retreat into the corner, then you take this pawn with your bishop, same mating idea here. They take, you take with the rook, and now here you basically have just a mate in 2, you're throwing various mates in 1 here right now. Also rook here is mate. So in order to stop these, queen g1, you simply take this pawn, only legal move, queen blocks, and you take, and you checkmate. But that obviously didn't happen in the game because I'm not gonna see this thing. Like, I am 1000 elo, not like 3000. So instead, I take the pawn. So he takes my knight, I take back with the pawn, and now I have a fine position. Probably looking to draw. I kick his bishop, as logical move. I have this problem though that my pawn is hanging, so I should defend it, but I don't. I defend this pawn instead, right? Like, it's also under attack, but hey, this blunders a rook. Completely dumb. But he doesn't see it, playing a rapid game, so I guess, it's just, okay, I'm gonna attack this pawn. I defend my pawn, from the attack, sidestep it, and now it's defended by the queen, so he can't take it. But now he actually sees, wait, this guy's rook is hanging. I'm just gonna take the rook. I take back. He gives a check, wins a pawn, and gives another check and just retreats the queen. And now I have a pretty bad position, of course, because I have, he has a rook for a bishop, and I have nothing to justify for that. I try to like set up a mate threat, and it's also the best move. I don't know really why, but I mean, I guess it is. Anyway, so he blocks it, and I decide to trade down into an endgame. I win a pawn at least. Well, I don't actually win a pawn, like he wins the pawn, but I'm just hoping that I can outsmart my opponent in the endgame here. So I also, as you can see, like I have only like 3 minutes 41 seconds, so I had to think quickly. Pawn takes the free pawn. I put the bishop on this diagonal. I block any attacks from the rook, and also, oh sorry, I did not mean to do that. And also, I have ideas in future to go here and start undermining these pawns. Opponent attacks my pawn. I defend it with the rook. It's obviously completely winning for white. It's no question in that. He tries to undermine my pawns, but I have actually this pawn supporting it, so it's not a big problem. I bring my rook to the second rank because I just need to wait. I mean, I can't really do anything. So yeah, I'm just basically just a waiting move. I trade the pawns, and yeah, it's the better move here was actually to take with a bishop, but I don't really know why you're just creating this weakness here. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. I will take like this instead. So we place a rook, and now I can actually, uh, what? What? Why did I do that? Um, oh, I think it's that I was afraid of attacks on the pawn, so I decided to walk up my king to further defend my pawn, I guess. It does kind of make sense, but well, whatever. So he goes here, and I guess the idea is to bring more attack to my pawn. So I go after his pawn, the best move, and here he makes a mistake, trying to play rook here with check, win this pawn. Very simple, and I miss. So I should have just taken this pawn and not be afraid of this check, but I wanted to defend first. I went king here. He can't obviously bring the rook up anymore. Goes there, but I do the same thing. I still block this move. And he goes rook all the way back over here. still threatening check here to win the pawn. But I'm not really worried about that anymore because if he does do that, I will just step next to my pawn and he can't win it because I have two defenders. So that's exactly what happens here. Now he just tries to attack this pawn of mine, but that way I just win another pawn. No, and he takes my pawn and I win another pawn. So now I'm actually up 2 pawns. So the material is even and it's a draw. So, uh, I'm obviously happy with that because I was losing, and I start pushing the pawns. And here he makes a mistake, tries to go after my pawn, but I defend it actually. As a matter of fact, I don't go too aggressive. I also take the bishop away from like the way of the pawns. Now he goes after my bishop. I defend it with my king. He brings another attacker, and I defend it with a rook. He gives a check. I go to defend my pawns. He just like starts walking the king. I start pushing my pawns, and look at that. I am winning now. It's it's a winning position. I'm pushing the pawns. I bring in my king, and here he makes a mistake because it's a mate in 2. Look at that. I just give the bishop check, force move, and now I just have a mate in 1. But I didn't actually see that in game, so instead I was like, okay, well, look at that. His king is back all the way back here. I'm gonna push these pawns. I'm gonna win. And I miss, and I mean I'm still winning, as a matter of fact, but it's the same mate in 1, of course, which I still don't see, but I'm still winning, so that's all good. And he tries to defend the promotion square, but like I still have the same mate in 1 that I still didn't see, and now you know now I defend the promotion square myself, but that's just a draw. So what I could have done here instead, I guess, is like give a rook check or something. There's basically no other good moves in the mate. So yeah, it is what it is. It's a blitz game. Look at that. I have 1 minute and 40 seconds. What do you want from me? He gives a check. I walk the king up. He wins a pawn. I promote, and basically just forgets to take my queen. What the heck? Like, what? Who does that? Like if he would have just taken the queen here, he moves the rook like wherever, like I don't know here. It doesn't really matter. That's oh no, actually that's amazing. Okay, that's kind of funny. That's a mate in 1, but just puts the rook here. Tries to trade off the rooks, and it's an easy draw. So so yeah, but this guy just gets to take my queen like this. I just win his rook. I mean, I had made it 1-1 again, but it doesn't really matter at this point. He just gives up, because it's completely winning. Like, what is he gonna do? I have a bishop and queen versus a pawn. So yeah, that was another pretty nice game. Kind of happy with how it went. Of course, I didn't play like the best. I missed like I missed a mate. I I blundered a rook, but it's a nice comeback win, sort of. Being down a rook for a bishop, and then actually, I won all the pawns on the queen side, and pushed my pawns and won. So like a very very nice. So that just really shows like how important this base of the pawn chain is really, because if the base falls, then the whole chain is going to fall. Just like you can see here, I just win all of these pawns. There's just one after another. So that will do it for today's video. I hope you had some fun. I hope you maybe learned something, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye.